Hi, welcome to my presentation. My name is Braxton Plunk. The election issue or topic that I decided to use is evolving times of TV media and the change and transition of TV media and media in general, really, as the past few elections have passed, and definitely the influence that TV media has on this year's election. The reason I used, TV media was as a first year registered voter. I would say that it has definitely persuaded me to choose which side or not. I registered as an independent, and coming from not really a political background with my parents and my family, I really turned to TV media to kind of find out information, especially as our generation and the younger generation is caught up in TV media and social media and websites. So I thought that this would be a very good opportunity to express to you guys, what I've learned as following TV media and how they have persuaded me to vote which way. I'm going to be talking about two of the major news sites today, news channels, and that's CNN and Fox. They're the most watched, the most popular across our country, and it's really, you really have to choose between the two. The first one I have here is CNN. CNN started as a straight news station. They reported news worldly as well as in our country. They have been around the longest. They were the first really big news channel to really report worldwide news. Nowadays, their foundation is built on the left or Democratic side of politics. So that's really the side they take in political. They take the Democratic side, or they persuade towards the left side of politics. And they have really been known to influence other media platforms to bias Democratic views. A lot of people have complained about this, saying that CNN has taken over the media or taken over TV media, and a lot of people, a lot of older generations have complained that they've lost the trust that they had, back in the 80s and 90s when they first started covering the worldwide news. And the next news channel I'm going to talk about is Fox. Now, Fox started after CNN. They really began as a opinion-based news station, so they really talked about their own perspectives, their own commentary. So they weren't quite, they weren't quite as popular as CNN at the time. So they really tried to, have like their own twist into the media, their own ways into, how they can talk about topics in our country and in our world. And Fox News was really the first news channel to really cover, the presidential election. And CNN would cover the results and the voting, but Fox would really, kind of pertain to one side and kind of say, okay, well, this is why you should vote for this person, and as it says right here, it called CNN out for being a news channel that couldn't be trusted. And Fox basically they called them out just because they weren't biased, they were biased and they weren't, choosing a side, so they couldn't be trusted because you didn't know, well, who are they covering, and Fox called them out for that. And as they called them out for that, the ratings for Fox started to increase, and CNN started to see a drop off. Fox supports the right conservative side of politics, so they'll always cover and persuade towards the Republican nominee. Now, fake news. This is, and nowadays we see it a lot on social media, but this is really what the two news channels have come to. There's always arguments, wherever you go between a left or a right or conservative or a liberal nominee about, the fake news and who to trust. And what I found researching, I found the intentions behind the reporting, it went into the development of what is fake news, and a lot of the intentions behind the reporting to nowadays is to bash the other candidate. So, you hardly hear, well, what's good with the other candidate, what's the other candidate doing that's good. You only hear about their negative side. Like I said last slide, when Fox called out CNN, it really started a battle for ratings. So now they went and started a war between each other about calling each other out. And this really led to the presidential candidates in election because they would call out, well, they support this person, so this is why they're wrong. And it just became a battle for ratings. And the fake news has really done a big deal in persuading Americans to follow their political beliefs. So they would, so Fox News, for example, would persuade people to follow the Republican side. And if you're the person that only watches Fox, you don't really get to evaluate and see what the other side has to offer because it's always about, well, how good the Republican candidate is and how bad the Democratic candidate is, and vice versa. And that was a big thing as I learned becoming a first year registered voter is, whatever news channel you watch, it's based upon, you know, what side you support politically. And the presidential voting propaganda. So a lot of the news channels have commercials leading towards their political stance. So CNN News would have commercials about how good their candidate is on the Democratic side, and then their commercials would be how bad the Republican side is, and vice versa. And it just created this fake news huge phenomenon that the people of America didn't know who to trust, and it's became a huge problem in our election, and it's persuading a lot of people. Here's my works cited page, and then my last works cited page here.